Good Tuesday evening to you. First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams here with an update on the forecast. We have got 3 First Alert weather days coming up tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday for storm potential increasing. We also have a few storms out there this evening, prompting some very heavy rain, and we've even seen some 40-mile-per-hour wind gust across portions of the region. Thankfully, Metro Atlanta has largely been spared from this active weather, but we are looking at some higher storm potential settling in tomorrow and for the rest of the week. So those are our First Alert weather days. The rest of the night tonight, we're still hanging on to a few storms through between now and 9 o'clock. Between now 9 and midnight, though, looking at those storms falling off. A partly cloudy sky overnight, lows around 75 degrees. Sunshine in the morning will get us into the afternoon where we are expecting a bit of a busier day. Rain coverage at least 50% we're expecting, so some scattered storms tomorrow. Some of those could be heavy. The high temperature 92 with the heat index between 95 and 100 before these storms begin to develop. Here's a look at First Alert radar. We do have these storms you can see here, most notably up in portions of Gordon County up to the north here. So we'll take you for a closer look there. So this is just east of Calhoun. This is just east of I-75, and this storm has been sitting there for about the past 30 minutes. So with rain rates, we'll take a look at too in a second, being at least 2 inches an hour. We could see some at least nuisance flooding, if not a little bit more so, unless the storm starts to move. And we do see some other development back toward Adairsville as well. So we'll be watching this area for some isolated flooding in the next hour or so. Thankfully, we're on kind of the tail end of the heating cycle, so we should not see this linger too much longer, but in another 30 to 45 minutes or so, we could see some very localized issues develop there. Again, the storm is not severe in the classic sense, but obviously speaking here, you can see several lightning strikes, and we've seen that cause some issues for us over the past few weeks. Rain rates, again, ranging from about 2 to 4 inches an hour, which means that if it rained that hard for 1 hour, we would get 4 inches of water on the ground. So that would not be ideal, obviously, and hopefully the storm starts to either weaken or get a bit of a nudge and move a little bit more so. But again, right now we're looking at areas east of Calhoun, east of I-75 there in portions of Gordon County. Again, that's what we're watching for. Flood potential. Otherwise, we've seen some stronger activity south of Athens in portions of Greene County. This does not look as intense as it was, obviously, but we still have a few downpours just to the north of I-20 in the far eastern sections of our coverage area. And then we still note a storm there near Walnut Grove redeveloping as well. But Metro Atlanta, just fine. It looks like maybe a sprinkle there closer to the airport, but overall, we're looking at dry weather here in the Metro. It's been hot and it's been humid. We also note a few showers and downpours just to the south of Tallapoosa on I-20 there near the Alabama state line. This was expected, though. We did see several showers and storms across the region today, but thankfully the coverage remained fairly isolated. And what we do still have on radar here, we should see slowly begin to diminish here over the next maybe hour or so. Here's the big picture. So around the southeast, we have several areas of thunderstorms around, mainly focused to the west of us. We see widespread activity in Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, and a separate cluster of storms up in the mid-Atlantic states. And we still have relatively dry weather in North Georgia, although obviously we're still watching a few of those localized storms I mentioned. But overall, this pattern is going to become more active for us in North and Central Georgia for the rest of the week. That has been affecting surrounding states for us for the past several days, and we will finally start to see our kind of protection break down a little bit and give us a little bit better chance at some active weather. Here's a look at Futurecast tomorrow morning. So we have 9 a.m. We're dry, and once we get closer to lunchtime, we'll see those showers and storms begin to form. And between noon and 3 is when the coverage should be a little bit higher. We're still thinking maybe the best chance of storms in terms from a coverage standpoint, maybe over there into the Carolinas. But we are seeing enough signs for us to be be worried about some impactful weather kind of in that rush hour time frame tomorrow. Maybe including the Metro this time. Again, we kind of missed most of it today. That could not be the case tomorrow. So we'll be watching for some downpours between 3 and 6 p.m. tomorrow, lightning, thunder. But again, organized severe weather where we see 60-plus mile-per-hour winds and big hail. Really not seeing that tomorrow, but impactful weather that we haven't seen in about a week or so. We were very thankful that we had dry weather through the 4th of July holiday weekend, and that obviously seems to be kind of coming to a close here starting tomorrow. And then let's get us into Thursday. So Futurecast here continues to show active weather going into Thursday, but there's 9 p.m. on Wednesday, and most of the action should begin to weaken. On Thursday, we'll start mostly dry, maybe with a little more cloud coverage than recent mornings. And with that in mind, we're not looking at as hot of a day Thursday. As the 7-day forecast will show here, we've got about 89 degrees for the high temperature Thursday afternoon. But we do see quite a bit of coverage of storms Thursday night, most of them weakening. And then going into Friday, more of the same here. As we take a look here, 6 o'clock Friday morning, perhaps a cloudy start, so kind of a dreary start since we're adding even more moisture to the atmosphere. And with the addition of more moisture, we do see the chances for storms continue into Friday afternoon and into Friday evening. There's 7 p.m. on Friday. We have a lot of stuff going on here in Atlanta coming up over the next few days, including the All-Star game, the Beyonce concerts, and then SEC Media Days kicking off next week as well. So Thursday and Friday, I believe, are the first 2 Beyonce concerts, and it looks like we will have pretty good chances for rain and storms. So as you make your way to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, just keep that in mind. The weather may not be perfect for that. Hopefully the Metro misses out, but the chances of rain and storms are relatively elevated Thursday and for Friday. As we take a look at, this is another look at what we could see here. First Alert Futurecast still kind of painting on the Thursday, Friday time frame of scattered to numerous showers and storms. And then the good news, though, is that for the weekend, we're going to see that coverage back off quite a bit. So here's a look at the 7-day. Tomorrow, before any storms form, we'll have one last sort of pretty hot, humid day with the heat index between 95 and 100, and then 89 degrees Thursday and Friday, so still plenty warm, but not super hot, with the chances of storms continuing. And then Saturday and Sunday, the rain chance down to 30 and 20%, with highs creeping back to the 90s. The hottest day looks like next Monday at 94, and then a little bit better chance at storms coming in next Tuesday at 92. Not much change in those overnight low temperatures, 72 to 74 degrees most nights. But the good news is that we're not really looking at overnight storm potential that'll keep us up all night. Looks like we will have the best chances for those storms in the afternoon and evening. Courtney talked about this earlier, but the good news is that there is no tropical concern. There are no tropical concerns for the next 5 to 7 days. We had Chantal over the weekend, and don't let your guard down, though. Courtney mentioned this in the 7 o'clock newscast earlier today, but August, it's July now, but August is always a signal for increased tropical development. But if we can get through July without another named storm, of course, that would be great. But August almost always signals an increase in tropical activity. We'll have to wait and see, but right now, in the next week or so, there are no imminent concerns for tropical activity anywhere in the Atlantic basin, whether it be in the Atlantic or in the Gulf or in the Caribbean, all very quiet, which is good news. We'll take you back to the 7-day forecast again for another look here, and we've got chances for storms very much increased the next few days. 3 first alert weather days in a row, again, for impactful storms in the afternoon that could impact travel plans, things like that. But widespread severe weather, we're not thinking that's going to happen, but obviously, some isolated flooding is certainly possible thanks to the fact that the storms will be very slow moving. We mentioned this for Gordon County specifically this evening. More examples of that are likely to happen over the next few days. Again, the good news is that we get a slight break from the 90s maybe Thursday, Friday at 89 degrees before we heat up again for the weekend. It's always a good reminder to have the First Alert Weather app downloaded because it will obviously alert you to heavy rain and lightning that are within your area. And of course, you can get the very latest on the forecast, any changes we may happen. Hopefully, the coverage of storms may decrease from what we're thinking right now, but it does look fairly busy tomorrow through Friday before we get a nicer break for this upcoming weekend.
30 a.m. on ANF Plus. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.